Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate everybody who comes to the channel. Hope you find it enjoyable, informative, and fun, even. I try to have fun, and I hope my viewers do too. So thanks very much to my subscribers, all my subscribers, and returning viewers. And if you're a new viewer, a hearty welcome. Again, I hope you'll enjoy what you see. Okay, so as I mentioned in the my apologies. Before I go any further, I've got the window open here in the hobby room. It's a beautiful warm afternoon, and it does tend to get a little stuffy in here with the door closed when I'm recording. We have electric baseboard heat, which we love. It's beautiful, but it means that we don't have ductwork going between rooms. So yeah, and it's Friday afternoon, so all of our monster truckers are heading out to go wherever monster truckers go on the weekend, which is okay because then we usually get some peace for the rest of the weekend. You know, sometimes it ain't no fun living on a semi-rural road. Anyways, otherwise we love it. It's a beautiful place here. Okay, and so, and I have to give a shout out to all the people out there in Jasper. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth, and it's just been devastated by a wildfire. And from what I understand, pretty much half the town is gone, and as well as a lot of pristine forest. So, and I also understand fire is now threatening the Banff area. So those are two of our most treasured national parks. And it's a shame. And I feel terrible for all the people who've been displaced. Many have had to go to Edmonton, which some would say is a fate worse than death anyways, but it's better than Winnipeg. Okay, so enough of that. Again, our hearts go out to you, and I'm sure that Canadians will come together, both in our prayers and with our wallets, to help out those people who've been displaced. All right, so moving on to the business at hand here, we have the Revell Horten GO 229, and as I hinted in the well, a little bit more than hinted in the unboxing and review, I'm going to do this as a real-time build, more or less. It's not a complicated kit. It shouldn't take a long time. And if you're a novice, or actually if you're a beginner, beginners would get the most out of this. Which brings me to whether videos are made for kids or not made for kids. You know, YouTube's great in so many ways, but they're also so irritating in many ways. You know, I don't think there's anything, well, maybe once or twice, but that's because I know that my videos aren't designated made for kids. But there really isn't anything in my videos that's not for kids. There's no foul language, very little politics, particularly identity politics. And we're just here to have fun and make models and review kits and relive our childhood and do things that we didn't maybe have a chance to do when we were that age. So all are welcome. The thing is that, you know, YouTube, you know, if you make it yes, it's for kids, there's no comments, and I welcome comments. I welcome comments. I welcome criticism. I welcome correction, as long as it's respectful. So with that in mind, I just ask everybody, when you do make comments, please remember that younger people might be watching, and they get enough stuff. They don't need that kind of junk on this channel about this subject. Okay, so enough of that. All right, so this was a very interesting. I'll put up an end screen, but this was a very interesting. I'm not going to go through the whole history again, but it was a very interesting aircraft and groundbreaking in many ways. It was the first ever flying wing jet design. Now, Jack Northrop, that name might sound familiar to some, actually built the first flying wing aircraft in 1929, but it was using a piston-powered gas engine. So, but this was the first jet-powered one, and it never went into service. Only 3 were made of the version 2. Version 1. Version 1 was found to not be able to accommodate I think it's the JUCO engines, the JUCO jet engines, and so it was basically abandoned. And there were three models of the version 2. This is the version 2. Actually, no, there were 2. Yeah, there were 2 models, two actual jet aircraft, and then there was a glider. It was exactly the same design, but it was a glider, which is what they built first to test the idea of the flying wing. And so, anyways, so the first test flight went fine. They went up, they went around, they went down, and everything was all right. The second test flight, everything was mostly all right, but it was a hard landing for whatever reason, and the landing gear was damaged. But the aircraft was salvaged and fixed. And the third time, one of the aircraft's engines caught fire in the air, and well, in the end, it crashed and burned. And the pilot, the test pilot, who I couldn't find out much about, other than it seemed that he was a very well-respected test pilot. His name was Ernst Zinner. He survived the crash. The aircraft was a complete loss, but he survived the crash, although he died from his injuries shortly thereafter. So I guess you really couldn't say it was a very successful design, although I'm sure they would have worked things out given more time. Of course, by then it was you know, early 1945, and you know, the Nazi German Third Reich was on the brink of complete and utter defeat. Excuse me. However, as I mentioned in the unboxing video, the remaining model was packed up and taken back by the Americans. And although they had their own stuff going on, as I mentioned, with Jack Northrop and others, they went back to take a look at it to see if there's anything they could learn from it. And flying wings, you know, they were pretty popular, especially for large bombers in the 1950s. But you know, they were pretty much eclipsed by the B-52 and missiles, as opposed to nuclear delivered or aircraft delivered weapons. So, anyways, enough of that. Let's get on with it, Cap. So we get a nice photograph of the built model. And you have the option here of landing gear up or landing gear down. And I've primed up all the parts. Their base color for the interior and so forth seems to be what they call mouse gray. There's gray primer. Looks like a mouse gray to me. Not going to worry that much about it. As always, prior to priming, I soak the parts in warm soapy water and rinse them well and dry them thoroughly. And I always set aside the clear parts in a safe spot, excuse me, so they don't get scratched or misplaced. Both of which those things have happened to me. In addition, I dug up, I can't remember where this guy came from. He is a 172. Unfortunately, he's had his crotch shot out. But we can fix that. We can rebuild him, make him better, faster, stronger, more enduring. Sorry, kids. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what nationality he was, but you know, he looks like a pilot, and with a little bit of trimming up, he should be able to fit in the seat. And so if I do it with gear up, it'll be with pilot, gear down, no pilot. And a lot of that will depend on visibility too. You know, I was very pleased with the figures of the 120 B29 Super Fortress. There were 3 figures, but by the time you put the canopy on, you couldn't see them. I mean, you could, if you really looked in, you could sort of see the bombardier, and you could sort of see there were, you know, some sort of fleshy colored sort of things in there. But anyways, it is what it is, and like my dad used to say, sometimes infuriating me, yes, but you'll know it's there. Ah. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start. Okay, and we start here. We got the little knife symbol. Oh, tools. I should be able to get away with just the nippers, tweezers, hobby knife. I may use this glue, but I might use the Tamiya extra thin. I'll have to see. Okay, and it looks like we've got a piece that needs to come off here. And these are already painted mouse gray. That's the G. And so we'll locate. Where is it? There we go. One moment, please. That was part of the problem, Steve. You didn't have your light down, so I apologize if there's any glare. I'll try and keep the instructions out of the way. And so we've got part number 1 here. And it says we're supposed to take this off. Okay. And as always, same as with sewing or carpentry, measure once, cut twice. They show to do this with an X-Acto knife or a hobby knife, but I found it's easier to do that, even though the little piece goes flying. I'm the one who has to sweep the floor, so it's okay. And we just trim that up because there's a little bit of... Oh, I lied. Yeah, little sanding stick, emery board, whatever. Okay, and so we've got 1. And 4. And the primer here isn't 100% even. I don't worry too much about it. As a matter of fact, I'd rather be a little on the light side and preserve the panel lines and so forth. Can you see? Like that, you know, that's nicely primed. That'll take any kind of paint you want, but you've still got the nice details. So you know, but that's just me. Okay, so. Okay, sorry about that. Got a little discombobulated there. Okay, so we can set that aside. And so we've got part numbers 5 and 6. And when it's a little delicate part like this, I cut it off with plenty of space. That minimizes the risk of breaking one of those little pieces. And then I just trim it off. There we go. And that's supposed to be there, but this isn't. The quality of this plastic's pretty good. Just about right. Not too soft, not too hard. Okay, so we'll do a little dry fit here. Everything's fine. And I think the Tamiya is going to work best here. I love this contacta stuff. And some people aren't crazy about it, but I like it for a lot of things. There we go. Okay, and now it looks like this goes here. Okay, that's a little fiddly. So I'm just going to pause while I get this in place. Okay, so we got that trimmed up and the first one put in place there. And that. Okay, alright. So now move to step 2. Alright, so it's time to put the control panel in, and there's a lovely cartograph decal here for it. Now we probably won't see it, but they've given us a lovely cartograph decal, so we're going to put it on. And so I get some nice warm water, not too hot. If it's too hot, the decal will break down in many cases. And if it's not warm enough, it won't. The adhesive won't be properly activated, which is sometimes the big reason why silvering happens. And this guy here, he's going to take a bit of trimming. Needs to lose some weight on his hips, and I'm afraid his boots are going to go, or most of them. But I still haven't decided if I'm going to put them in yet. So. Okay, the other thing you want to avoid is leaving the decal in the warm water too long. Again, there, you just want it enough, just enough to slide. And then I also just put a, not even that much. And I like the Vallejo. This is water-based. To me, it makes a good one too. That's solvent-based. So, you know, whatever turns your crank. And a little bit of water with the decal fix in it over top. Brush out any little air bubbles, and there you have it. See that? There you go. Sort of, kind of. Okay, so that's going to get carefully set aside to dry. And the seat's going to go in. There we go. And I will tidy up that seat later, as far as paint goes. Okay. Got 3 and 7. This is the other thing. This is one thing I'm going to whine a little bit about. They've got the numbers are all over different sprues. Like here they've got 1, 7, 42, 35, and then over here 20, 57, 18. Yeah. Anyways. Okay, and so we get number 3 and number 7, which I think are here. Set that aside. There we go. There's number 3. Okay, and the other thing about Revell kit, it says that's color K, so I have to flip back, and this says tank gray matte. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. Instead, what I might do, silver Sharpie. Just to give them a bit of metallic look. And if you do, when you store your Sharpies and stuff like this, make sure it's this way down. Okay. I know it's a pain because you can't see what color it is, but if you do it the other way, it gets dried out and it really sucks. So, yeah. And again, we go back. What is E? Dark green. Okay. This can wait. Okay. And then we've got the stick. Did you see that? I put my finger on top so it didn't go flying. Especially something like this, you're never going to find it. Carpet Monster's going to use it to pick his teeth. Oh, dag nabbit calf. Look what you did. Rats. Okay. After all that about being so careful, I broke it. And something that tiny, ain't no way you're gonna. Come on, Butterfingers. Okay, so this is gonna wait, and this gets set aside. So probably. Anyways, I'm gonna fix this guy up off camera. Make sure he fits. Okay, now next. This, so get it out of the way. And also this step I'm going to wait on until I get the control panel in and whatever's going to be going on there. Okay, so now we'll move to step 4. And we have part numbers 10, 11, and 12. Okay, and we have 10, 11, 12. Okay, so let's start with 12. Okay, and then 10 and 11. Some people like to take all the parts off the sprue at the start. Never got that, but to each their own. Okay, so here 10 and 11 go together, and as always we do a dry fit. These are tiny parts. There we go. Nice fit. Okay. Clamp that down. Doesn't have to be for long. Okay. 12. Okay, and I'll be back once I get that done. Okay, and it says to paint the inside here at the base flat aluminum. So I'm just going to take a minute to do that. And this is Tamiya XF16 flat aluminum, and we're not going to paint the little posts in there. I don't know if you can see them, but there's little posts that these rest on. So we're just going to paint on the inside here. Okay, so that gets set aside. There's the other one. And we'll do the same thing here. And I'm trying not to paint the top of the posts so that the glue will adhere better. And I don't have to go in there and trim it down. Okay, there we go. Always put the cap back on right away. And you might have noticed I try to keep the paint pot out of the way, and paint from the cap if I can. If I can't, I tend to have it back far so I don't knock it over because I'm clumsy. Okay, so we've got these guys. That's what's going to rest on the posts. So we're going to trim the primer off of there. And I at the outset I said I was going to try and do this in one video, but I'm not going to rush. I don't like to rush. You know, it's not an expensive kit, and actually this one was free. But the fact is that, you know, kits cost money, and I don't like to waste money, so there. Okay, and this is nice because you can do stuff and kind of set it aside. Okay, so next we have this, which is now here. And again, flipping back, flipping. Actually, I'm finished with the steps on the other side of this page, so I'm going to tear this. The horror. There, that's going to make it a lot easier. Okay, so we got I and J. Looks like okay, so these guys are matte black. these guys are metallic aluminum. So, metallic gray, yeah. Chrome silver. These are virtually the same, so I'm just going to go with the aluminum I just worked with. No. Use the Vallejo silver. Okay, now this won't take much, so I'm just gonna, actually it's blurping out on its own there. Probably won't even need this much. So yeah, I ended up getting this kit for free because of a mangled box. And again, but yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong? But even so, you know, the kit was $26, and you know, if you just want to bang it out in an hour or two, well, that's fine, I guess. Me, I'd rather take some time to really make something of it, and you know, turn something that cost $26 into something I think is worth twice as much or more. Anyways, if not others. Okay. So, alright, so we've got that. And then we've got the matte black. So, anyways, yeah, so if I have to split this into two for the assembly and the paint as you go, hope you won't mind. Okay, matte black. Flat black. I don't like these new paint pots. Stain with tweezers. Anyways, okay, so here we go. Okay, now I'm no paint expert, but what I start at the top and go down, and tend to put a good glob of paint there, and then draw it down or over. Try and go with the general direction or contour of the whatever you're painting. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that goes into the thinner. I use Tamiya thinner, it's virtually odorless. Okay, and we're not quite finished with that yet. Okay, I'm going to try and keep this to about an hour. Maybe even a little less. I think we'll just do step 6 here, and then take a break. Yeah, that pre-painting's done, and so not sure what you have to tape here, or if they're talking about masking it. Anyways, it says to glue these and then wait. So we'll do that step since we've done that. I'm going to use the contacta for this because it does better when you try to glue it to paint. Oh, interesting. Okay, that was very fiddly and still doesn't want to go. There it is. So There, finally. Okay, yeah, you had to push that hard. Okay, and so here we go. This looks like the front of a BMW motorcycle, doesn't it? Ah, what a coincidence. Okay, last step, and then we'll break and come back for part 2 after. Okay. How do we know which end is up? Does it matter which end is up? Okay, and there's a nice little locator pin here. Go. And the locator pin there. Okay, and it looks like I'm going to have to get in there with, well, we'll see. Anyways, that's that for now. Set that aside. Pack everything up carefully. Make sure everything has a lid. Tools back on the tray. And it's never good to leave your brushes in the solvent for too long. So try not to be like me and forget them overnight. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Tomorrow, you know, we'll deal with this and figure out if it's going to be gear up or gear down. I'm thinking, actually, if I do it gear up, I've got a couple different kinds of stands. But, yeah. I think that one from the B29 Super Fortress will be perfect. You know, I'll just have to, you know, I'll have to, what do you call it? Make a slot. But, anyways, we'll see. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks to everyone who's watching. If you truly are a beginner or novice, I hope you've learned something today. Otherwise, I hope you've just enjoyed it. For me, it's very relaxing, not only to do the model kits, but to watch other people do them as well. So thanks again. Appreciate everybody's time. And we'll see you for part 2 of the final assembly. Bye now.